Welcome, Patrick, to Turkey, Moca Network event. I would like to start with a simple question. What does Moca Network do? I asked Tyler before, but I want to hear your own words. What does Moca Network do? How can you explain it to a person who doesn't know much about Web3 or a person who doesn't know much about Moca Network and what they do?
So what Mocha is really focusing on, at the end of the day, it all boils down to identity. But even identity is sometimes like a hard concept to really understand. But I always like to use the example of Starbucks. People like to go to Starbucks. In some countries, the coffee is better. In some countries, the coffee is worse. Here in Turkey, it's actually fairly good, I would say at least. And Starbucks is basically an identity business because what they do with their app, they have like the largest reward program in the world. And you go back to Starbucks because compared to like a lot of other coffee chains, you actually get rewards for like buying a coffee. You get points in your app that you can, if you buy enough coffee, redeem for extra coffee, right? And at the end of the day, similar to like hotels, airlines, and other coffee chains, they're an identity business because they, through loyalty programs, retain you as a user and you spend more money on coffee, on very pricey coffee, through these identity and loyalty solutions. So for somebody that might not have a lot of touch points in crypto, we as Mocha, we're focusing on these identity pieces where loyalty is one of the major aspects, generally speaking.
Yeah, so you're focused on adoption in Dubai and UAE regions, right? So what's different in that part of the world from the other like developed crypto ecosystem like USA, Europe, or Asia, or Turkey? Like what's different there, and what different strategies are you implementing to bring businesses or the users from there?
So I would say Turkey is already like pretty friendly when it comes to identity because a lot of the businesses here as well, they're actually very used to identity solutions like loyalty programs, point programs, generally speaking. But in the UAE, it looks a bit different because in the UAE, the regulations are very much pushing for making very friendly crypto adoption. So they have a very business-minded regulatory framework. So they want crypto businesses to come to the UAE, to open up a business, open up shop, and build their business in the UAE. So in the future, they can make tax revenue. And one of the core aspects in the UAE is that since you're starting a lot of new businesses there, you can basically create a lot of the crypto primitives from scratch. So one of the best examples is stablecoins. A lot of the companies in the UAE can use stablecoins because the regulatory framework is fairly clear. And you can use that within your app to like save fees on payment processors. And you can also additionally have the option to basically have instant transfers rather than waiting a couple of days for settling. And it's pretty important because there's a lot of remittances also happening throughout the UAE to like other countries, for example, Pakistan, the Philippines, and other countries. And obviously with stablecoins, like all these payment providers like Western Union, they suddenly lose their job, right? Because stablecoins make that all irrelevant. And the UAE is really pushing for these type of businesses, which are both identity and stablecoin, to get that adoption, to get to that critical mass where people are used to using these solutions just because they have less fees, they're faster, and at the end of the day, for like emotional topics like sending money to your family, you don't want to wait 3 days. You want that to be instant, preferably with no fees, and that's where crypto really helps. And that's where we also see as like an identity solution where you might need a KYC, you might need to verify yourself. We can make this as easy as possible, which is why specifically in the UAE we see a large demand for these type of solutions to make it very easy for people to get onboarded to crypto.
You touched upon that, but I just want to ask you again, like, what does in general Turkish crypto ecosystem look like, and yeah, how do you see Turkey developing? I think you have a lot of members from our community in your network, and yeah, how does it look like to you? Like, how is Turkey looking in crypto?
First of all, the Mocha Turkey community is amazing. They're so passionate, and also the people here in Turkey are so friendly. So it's every time really nice to come here. Like we discussed, like before this interview, there's worse places to travel than coming to Istanbul. So it's a really nice city, and we're always happy to come by. Generally speaking, like the ecosystem is actually pretty friendly, I would say, because obviously we're a Web3 native crypto project, but we're building with identity isn't just for Web3 projects. It's actually like very interesting to Web2 projects, and oftentimes it's very hard for them to buy a token or buy an NFT because legally speaking for them it's difficult. But what is very clear is that they want solutions that are Web3 native that help them solve these problems. And with the things we're building, we can actually help them solve these problems. So especially like also Web2 and traditional businesses here in Turkey, like some of the largest ones, are very interested in working together with us and doing things with us. And ON4 was just one example we recently announced, but we're working on a lot more. So this week has been hectic so far, but it's very exciting because those businesses see immediate value in what we're doing. And if we play everything right, we'll have a way larger Turkey community and we'll have even more traveling to do to Istanbul moving forward.
You're always welcome.